Hey, it's Benjamin. Hey, my friends. Hey, I want to talk to you guys today a little bit about denominations. God showed me a new perspective on denominations, and I wanted to share that with you. So we went and visited a small church here in town, and during worship I asked God, and I said, hey man, is there anything you want to show me? Made myself available, and this is what he showed me. Alright, so the scene opens up with God sitting on his throne. Okay, so he's sitting there on his throne. He doesn't have a hoodie on. This is me. So he's sitting there, and he's about this, sitting there. And he's got this huge throne, a huge floor in front of him. Right here, there we go. This huge floor in front of him. And then I see me. This is a Rice Krispie. It's been increased for size. During the vision, I was much smaller than this. I was probably smaller than a grain of sand. But I did this so you guys could see. Okay, so there's me standing on the throne room floor, and then there's God sitting there, you know. And it's about perspective. It's about a change in perspective. My perspective and God's perspective. Okay? And as we're standing there, he says, hey, you want to see how to bend light? And I'm like, yeah, show me how to bend light. And so then all of a sudden, all these churches appear in front of him, and they're probably about the size of a Lego. I wish I had a Lego. I don't have a Lego, but there's all these hundreds of these churches, all in front of God. And you got the steeple ones, you got the ones with the slanted roofs, the artsy ones, the real fancy mega churches, down to like the little home groups. I mean, there's just hundreds of these churches in front of God. And he begins to like radiate this light, and this light comes off of him, and it hits the buildings. And I know that usually when light, hits a corner, it makes a shadow around the other side. And so I was like waiting for light to start bending and like that. But as soon as the light hit the churches, all the buildings turned to people, because we know that church is not a building. We know it's the people. And it was neat because the different churches represented the different denominations, the different styles, the different livelihoods, the different people. And as God's light hit the buildings, it turned into the people, because that's what the church is. It's the people. God's not in the business of real estate currently. He might be coming back to get what's his, but that's another tale. And so there's all these people, and I saw God's light hit the people, and as soon as it did, I saw a person standing there, and I could see inside them, and I saw their heart. And the heart, in this particular scenario, it looked like two lenses that were pushed together. So you would have like a magnifying glass or a lens here, okay? And then you would have another one here, and they would go together. And then the light would come in one side, and it would stir inside of the lens, and then come out the other side. Depending on which way the person is looking, God's light comes in. Which way they focus, the light goes out. And so as the light's hitting the people, I see all these people, from down here, and one's looking this way, and one's looking this way, and one's going this way, and one's over here, and everybody is going every which way. There's no unity. There's no congruency. Everybody's doing something different. And so what a mess. What a mess. And I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, yeah, I get it, God. Yeah, I can see. What a frickin' mess these denominations are. And that was from my perspective. Now, when I zoomed up to his, like I'm standing on his shoulder looking down, all those people going all these different ways made this gigantic net out into the world. Because everybody's life is going a little bit different path, but it's all going the same way, And it made this net of light and love from God. And God whispers to him, and he says, I designed it this way so that none would be lost. And I thought, how many different people out there with how many different tastes and concerns, and how many different facets of God is there? It's amazing to even grasp. But he has all these different people going all different with shining light every which way you could think of, so that none would be lost. And the scripture I got was After Jesus got resurrected, he's standing on the beach and his buddies are out fishing, right? Because they saw their best friend get killed, and so what do? You go fishing, right? So they're out fishing, don't catch nothing. Jesus tells them, hey, throw your nets on the other side. And they pull their nets up, and they caught 153 fish, and the nets didn't break, and it was about that net, right? About making that net. Side note: 153 fishes. If you go through and count the 4 Gospels, and don't double count, but if you count every single person that Jesus healed, 153, right? All right. So it speaks about denominations, and I have a new respect for denominations. We are all going the same way. We're just talking a little bit different, Like, how many different ways can you have a steak? It's still cow, but it can be made into a burger, filet mignon. There's Wagyu, there's Black Angus, but it's all beef. We're all just cooking it a little bit different. Denominations are like ice cream. There may be 31 different flavors out there, but when you melt it down, it's all just sugar and milk and eggs. But it's all ice cream. It's all gospel. It's all God. And he has the ability to reach every single person. He's just throwing lines and bait out every which way. So that's what I saw, and that's my new found respect and my new view on God's church and God's denomination. The body is actually much more unified than I thought, and it's working together. Not from my view. Oh, there it is. Not from my view. I got lost. Not from my view, but from God's view. Thank you for joining me today, guys. Again, do what's right, not what's easy. Go have a good day.